Look at this problem right here. Now this one's got a distributed load, and then it's got these bars right here, and you can see with this BB line. So let's see what it wants us to do. It says determine the largest intensity W of this load that can be applied to the frame without causing either the average normal stress or average shear stress at this section to exceed the normal stress of 15 megapascal, shear stress of 16 megapascal. And then it tells us member CB, which is this one, has a square cross section of 30 millimeters on each side. Okay, so basically we want to figure out what W can be and not go past these two limits here. All right, so let's see what we should do first. First of all, let's go ahead and find the angle here. We're going to need that, so let's go ahead and do that. Now notice we can do that. We got a 3, 4, so this would be 5. So let's call that theta. Then theta, if it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, you probably already know what it is, but to calculate it, we do arctangent of 4 over 3, which would give us 53.13 up there. All right. Now that we've got that established, I have to somehow get W so that we can use it, right? I have to have a force that's a function of W or something. So let's go ahead and let's do the free body diagram of AB, and let's see what we get with that. And then we'll go from there. All right, so there's AB. Now let's put the forces on here. Okay, up here we're pinned together to BC, so I've got a force right here. So let's call this BC. There's that angle theta we just found. I've got a pin right here at A. So a pin basically allows rotation about that pin axis, so the axis coming out of the page like that, but it doesn't allow translation. So we're going to have an AX and an AY, and I just picked those directions. Uniform load here, W is the intensity, this length is 3. So remember how we do that? Basically we're just going to find, you know, the area in quotes of this little region. So the length is 3, we got W, so we're going to have 3 times W, and that's going to act at the centroid location of that load. So right in the center here of AB. Let's put these distances. So this will be 1.5 meters, and that's 1.5 meters there. All right. Now, we're also looking at BB, okay, because these values here are for section BB. So I have to somehow relate what I have in AB over here to section BB. Now the only thing that relates those two together is this force that we've got up here, this BC, right? So let's find force BC. Okay, now I don't need these moments, right? So that means we can just jump to the moment equation. And let's take the moment about A. And then that'll get rid of these. I don't need these. Okay, so we can get those out of our equation. So finding the moment about A, let's start with this one here. Counterclockwise is positive, so this would be a negative 3W. Distance is 1.5. And then for BC, remember it's got two components, right? We got the X component, we got the Y component. The Y component goes right through A, so I don't have to take a moment for that. The X component, however, does not. This has a perpendicular distance here, so we need to include that. And this would be a counterclockwise moment, because if I hold here at A, push in that direction like the force is, it goes counterclockwise. So that's plus BC, and this would be the opposite of the angle, so we'll do sine theta. Distance from here to here is 3. So there we have it, and set it to 0. Now let's solve for BC. So BC will be 1.875 times W. Now notice we've got a force on this side, and it's a function of W. Okay, so we're on our way here. Now what we need to do is I have to somehow get to where I can use these two values. Okay, so let's let's think about what to do there. What is our general equation here for normal stress? Well, it's going to be the normal force over an area, right? And then shear stress is shear force over an area. So if I can find N and V, then I will be good with these equations, all right, because I can find area also. So let's go ahead and let's try to find the normal and shear force. We want to do that at section BB right here. Okay. So let's draw a free body diagram. And I'm just going to use this top piece. Like that. Okay, now notice this is horizontal here. Now if we put our forces, I've got this pinned together, right? So since this one was coming down from Newton's third law, we have to have this one going up. Okay. And we need our angle. So this angle here is theta. Okay. Now let's look here at this cut section. So this is the BB line right here. Okay, so we know we're going to have a shear force, and I'm just assuming these directions. So let's call it VB. We've got a normal force going out, and then we could put the little moment, MB. We're not going to need that though. Okay, so we've got this. Now BC we know is 1.875 times W. Now let's go ahead and find N and V. So let's look at our X equation. We're going to have VB plus the X term here. So 1.875W. The X term would be opposite this angle, so it would be sine 53.13. Set it to 0. VB then is negative 1.5W. Okay, so now we've got our shear force there at that section. Now let's find the normal force. So that's going to be the Y direction. Up's positive. So we'll have negative NB. And now I need the Y component of BC. All right, so Y is adjacent to that angle, and it's going up, so we're going to have plus 1.875W cosine 53.13. Set it to 0. NB then is 1.125W. All right, we're almost there. Now we can come to these equations here. All right, because I'm looking for W, right? So if I have this value for the stress, which I do, and I can find the area, then when I plug in my force, this is going to be a function of W, so the only unknown would be W. So before we do that, let's work on the area. Okay, I need the cross-sectional area at section BB. Now it tells us that member CB has a square cross-section of 30 millimeters on each side. All right, so think of this as being a square-shaped rod. All right, so this length right here would be 30 millimeters, and then if you could look from the top, that, I don't know how to really show that, that would be 30 millimeters also. Okay, so let's kind of draw this out. Okay, so there's that little piece. This length right here is 30, right? Now, I want this section here, this horizontal section, right? So I need to know what this length here is, okay? So let's look at that, and let's make it a little bit bigger so we can actually see what we're doing here. Okay, so this is 30 millimeters. Let's find this distance here, that length, and this is going to be perpendicular, okay? And then here's theta. All right, now I know you might be wondering, well, how do we know that's theta? Well, the way I always look at these is I draw the standard Cartesian frame, and then I draw another one that's rotated, and then I look at an angle that I know. So we know this angle, right? So match it up over here. So that would be like right there. And then since these are all 90 degrees, like this is 90 degrees, right? Then this would be 90 minus theta. But then this has to be theta, right? Because then that is 90 degrees, right? So basically every other one is going to be theta. Now, we had the horizontal and then this line that matches with right here. So that's how I knew to put theta there. Okay. So that usually helps people if they have a hard time visualizing the angle. Now let's go ahead and find x. All right, we know what theta is. It's still at 53.13. So we have a right triangle. So what if I use cosine? So cosine of 53.13 is going to be equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So 30 is the adjacent side. X is the hypotenuse, because notice it's across from that 90-degree angle. All right. So solve, and we get, whoops, that should be 0.05. And that's millimeters. Okay, so now we can find our area at section BB. So our area then is going to be 0.05 for this section here, and we need the cross section, right? So I have to go like back into the page, so that would be 0.03 from the 30. All right. Let's see. Actually, this is in meters. Oh, you know what I did, guys? I forgot to copy this out of my notes, right? All right, so that's 0.03. That makes more sense. Okay, so 0.05 meters. All right, so now all of these are meters, so we have 0.0015 meters squared. Okay, now we've got our area, and we're ready to go. So let's look at sigma. So sigma we know is 15 megapascal. And let's put it in Pascal. So the conversion there is 10 to the 6th. So 15 times 10 to the 6th Pascal has to equal the normal force, so 1.125 W, over the area, which is 0.0015 meters squared. Now, looking at this, W is our only unknown, so I can solve for W. And we get 20,000 newtons per meter. Now let's do shear stress. That was 16 megapascal. Convert it over to Pascal, multiply by 10 to the 6th, and then put our shear force. And we're not going to worry about the negative, because that just means we drew the wrong direction here. So just put the positive 1.5 W, and then let's put it over the area. Solve, and we get 16,000 Newton per meter. Well, now we have two values, right? It wanted us to find the largest intensity that we could have without exceeding those stresses. So now which value should we pick? Is it going to be the 20,000 or the 16,000? Well, I think it's going to be this one, right? Because once W goes beyond 16,000, I've already failed the shear stress requirement. Okay, so I'm never going to get to 20,000 for the intensity, because I would have already failed this one. So you want to pick the smaller of the two numbers, okay? Because once we exceed that, we have failure. And let's write that down. So choose the smallest number, because once that is exceeded, we have failure. Okay, so that would be your answer right there.